after a nearly 40-year or 45-year career, you decided you were going to bite off being the president of the AAPL. What brought you to that? What's driving you forward? You have to have some sort of passion for it, right? Obviously, you're a teacher. Um,
Yeah.
you know, what led you to say, yeah, okay, I'll do it?
I think it's because I knew I mean, and this sounds kind of, you know, quirky, but it was time to give something back. And I never really aspired to be president of AAPL. I look at the people who've come before me, all the work that has been done. Um, AAPL created NAPE. Lots of people don't know that. We created this place where people once and used to be twice a year come together to look at deals and to network and make friends and find new employment if we want it. That's remarkable. It's a lifeblood. It keeps us connected. And so one, I was humbled that anybody wanted to even really put my
And
name in the hat to be considered. And then I remember when Lester Zitkus called me after the process at NAPE and they'd chosen this slate of officers. And I thought, well, he's going to call me and say, that's great. Thanks for. But I picked up the phone and he said, Madam First Vice President. And you could have knocked me over. But
what was the bigger
it's
call? You got the due diligence job or Madam First Vice President?
I got the due diligence job, no
Yeah.
doubt about that. I got the due diligence job. Yeah, it was yeah, because it was just I mean, I didn't expect the president thing, but that set me in motion. That set me in motion to get here today, right? To be able to do what I do. Um and AAPL does so much for so many people. We have close to 11,000 members today, and um, we have money that we can distribute in times of natural disasters. We give money if you'll fill out an application, professional development assistance, field landmen who say, I can't take the day off. I'm not going to get
Yeah.
paid. Twice a year, you can get $300 to go to the annual meeting, any education event, to NAPE. But it's
I think
awesome to me.
that is one of the, and I'd like to stop, don't mean to interrupt there, but that's a very important thing for membership to know, especially on the field side of things. I mean, you certainly understand somebody working on a day rate. If they go to a seminar, they're missing out on the day rate. But what AAPL has done there is a big deal. You recognize that a good, I don't know what percentage of your membership is field landmen, but it's got to be a good percentage.
Right.
And all of our contractors are required to be AAPL members for a number of reasons. One, ethics, right? But two, for continued education, you have to stay sharp. It's blending being a good person with being a competent person. Those are two different
Right.
things. Education creates competency. That is a big deal that the AAPL does, and I applaud that. And I want to make sure that all landmen recognize and know that that's available to them simply by filling out an
Yeah.
application. Um,
Yeah, I was sitting next to Kyle Reynolds at a board meeting earlier in the year, who's the incoming president. He was sitting at his computer and he was typing away. And finally I looked at him. I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm filling out the professional development assistance application to see how long it takes. Less than a minute. Less than a
yeah.
minute. And you have $300 for whatever seminar you want to go to, a renewable energy certificate program.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Oh, yeah, well, here's $300 and we're going to pay for it for you.
Is that
Or
annually, Nancy?
$600 a year,
Yeah.
twice. So you get to do it twice a year. Your dues are $195, $300 professional development assistance twice a year. Looks to me like you're making more money than you're spending for dues,
Yeah.
right?
Many of
You
them
know,
are online courses that are available as well.
yep,
So you can still work your day rate, work your job during the day, and block off 3 hours in an afternoon or 4 hours in an evening over the course of 2 days and get those
yes,
credits.
Well, that's the
yep,
whole renewable energy certificate. I mean, I was able to do that in tandem in the evening. I'd get my work done during the day, but it was all accessible online through the hub. But I think the most important thing here is knowing that that's available. I mean, as involved as I've been really since I started, not that I'm that far into my career, but I didn't know until I was really involved with the AAPL. And I think, Nancy, you and I were talking about it, or it got brought up at a board meeting, that I never knew that was available. And so it's, again, just having that knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And knowing that is an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, that the money comes from our education foundation. That's who supports the professional development assistance. They give grants to AAPL, and we in turn give it to our members twice a year. Disaster assistance. We all remember Harvey. This year, particularly, there were fires and hurricanes and everything from North Carolina to Florida. Ruidoso, New Mexico had a fire, and then it had a flood, and all of California. And people say, what's California? What's that to you? Well, we have Landmen in California. We have the Los Angeles Landman Association. Thankfully, none of those people were directly affected by the fire, but when your community's affected, of course you are. And so I think it's being able to say, these are things that we want to be able to contribute to you. Someone asked me earlier in the year, they're in Bakersfield actually, and they said some of the people in their community were saying to them, well, what is it that AAPL really does for you? And I think about AAPL as being the big house, right? It's the big organization, and we have capital to help you. And there are a lot of local associations that don't make much money. And so we can help them with educational events and putting on seminars. We can send speakers to them. We have our accredited programs. So AAPL is trying to touch people that don't always have what they need in order to provide them what they do need to be better landmen.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I hear people often say, oh, AAPL doesn't do anything for me. And, I think it's a flawed mentality and a flawed approach, because AAPL is not required to do anything for you. What can you do for yourself? The things are there. The resources are there. You have to take the initiative to get the benefits of what's available, right?
It's a great point, Brent. I mean, that's exactly where it's like anything else. You put the time into it. And that's really whenever I started seeing more value extracted aside from my annual membership dues. What can I give back? In turn, it's multiplied and then some as to what AAPL has given back to me from a local and national level. The people that I've met, the connections I've made, how it's helped advance my career. I can't repay AAPL or DAPL.
Yeah.
I think
I look at it as my duty.
Yeah. And I think too, Patrick, when you talk about that, I think, we can talk about professional development assistance. Yeah, that's great. That's super fantastic. But also I think about our governmental affairs. I think what Russell Cohen does with all of the legislation for all of the states in the union dealing with energy. If you were to go out and try to pay for that yourself, number one, you couldn't, because it'd be too expensive. So for $195 a year, everything legislative that is going on across the United States. And I think that's what we as landmen do. We go from state to state, county to county. Everything's different. Airship is different. How you look at title is different. And we get that from our governmental affairs. We also have our forms committee that's making forms for us so that we can say, oh, I really need a master services.
Yeah.
This is a standard. Here's some place to start on all of that. And it just, there are just so many things that if all of our members used all of those, it would just be extraordinary, because it's there just for the push of a button.
Yeah.
And I think too, Nancy, you bring up a great point. I mean, even with the lobbying component behind it, the passage of Senate Bill 1172.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a prime example, even benefiting folks who aren't members,
Right.
protecting our rights as Texans to do land work.
Yeah.